Amidst heightened tensions between Iran and the West, the State of Israel has said that Iran will bear the consequences for choosing to escalate the situation if it chooses to escalate the situation.
Iran will bear the consequences for choosing to escalate the situation any further. Israel is on high alert. We have increased our readiness to protect Israel from further Iranian aggression. We are also prepared to respond.
The reports say that Iran is preparing to launch an attack on the State of Israel as a clear reprisal for the bombing of its embassy in Syria on the 1st of April. According to reports within the Israeli media, Iran can launch missiles and drones, and it can happen today. The offensive is expected to take place in the southern or the northern regions, and it has the potential to trigger an all-out war. Now, despite the fears of regional tensions escalating, Israel's military has said that they have prepared plans to respond to a possible Iranian attack. Now, according to the army's spokesperson, Israel is ready for a wide variety of scenarios that includes both defensive and also offensive actions. Iran has sent a message to the United States through the Arab nations, and I quote from that, "If you intervene in a conflict between us and Israel, then we will attack the American bases in the region." The warning has come as the United States President Joe Biden has stated that he is expecting Tehran to attack sooner rather than later. However, he's also warned Iran against attacking, stressing that the United States will defend the State of Israel. Now, Biden has been receiving constant updates on the situation from his national security team. And the 81-year-old Commander-in-Chief of the United States of America has got just one word to say to the Iranians when a reporter asked Joe Biden about his message for Iran amidst fears of a possible reprisal. They've reportedly been told to prepare for an attack. They've been told to ensure that all public shelters are ready for use. Civilians have also been asked to remain vigilant. Following a sharp rise in the tensions, countries including India, France, Russia, Poland and the United Kingdom have warned their citizens against travelling to Israel. And in some cases, the wider region amidst threats of an Iranian attack. Now, India has also advised all of its citizens to not travel to Iran or even to Israel until further notice. The travel advisory made by New Delhi has come as Iran is home to as many as about 4,000 Indian nationals, while about 18,000 Indians reportedly live in the State of Israel. Meanwhile, the United States has asked its consulate staff in Israel to not travel outside of the greater Tel Aviv area, in Jerusalem and also Beersheba area. Some flights have also been cancelled to Tehran. Now, earlier in Damascus, an explosive device was in fact detonated in a car in what is said to be an upscale neighborhood. The Syrian official Sana news agency said that the explosion was heard in the Mazeh area in the Al-Huda square, and no injuries were reported in the blast, and Iran's embassy and other foreign missions are located in this area. Damascus and Tehran have blamed Israel for this bombing at its consulate. And also to give us more updates in terms of what, of course, is playing out at this moment in these tensions that appear to be on the rise. We're being joined by Dr. Tawhid Asadi, who's joining us live from Tehran. He's an adjunct professor at the University of Tehran. Now, Professor Asadi, thank you very much indeed, sir, for joining us here on WION. And let me, in fact, start by asking you this. Now, the attack on the Iranian embassy in Damascus took place on the 1st of April. Today is the 13th. It's almost a fortnight, that is 2 weeks that have come and gone by. And what we are hearing is more from the American and the Israeli side that the Iranian attack on Israel appears to be imminent. This is what the Americans and the Israelis claim, but we've heard very little from the Iranians in the last 1 week. Is Iran, let me ask you this, is Iran planning for any kind of a reprisal attack against Israel?
Well, I think this is an extremely and unprecedentedly escalated situation as a result of the irresponsible behavior by the Israeli regime that has just put the West Asia on the verge of a full-fledged war. And under such a circumstance, the risk of miscalculation is quite high, and Iran tries to avoid any action that could result in uncontrollable escalation of the situation. The truth of the matter is that Iran sees the consulate attack as a strike on its soil. Therefore, it reserves the right to retaliate. And the important issue here is the change of rhetoric in Iran, and the supreme leader of the country called for retaliation in a very strong manner. So this retaliation could be at any form, ranging from using drones or missiles or any other potential tool at the convenience of Iran. And Tehran is repeatedly putting forth this claim that no country, either United States or any other country, is in the position to set limits or red lines for this retaliation, A. And B, Iran is trying to act in a very strategic and wise manner due to a context in which it is located, from assassination of top nuclear scientists before the recent developments in Gaza. The Iranian top nuclear scientist Fakhrizadeh was assassinated by the Israelis, and then later on Iranian military advisor Said Razi Mousavi was assassinated in Damascus, and later some recent cyber attacks against Iran by the Israelis. And added to all these was the strike that took place in the Iranian consulate. And these are all indicative of one single critically important fact, that Israeli regime is trying to drag Iran into this battlefield. The reason is obvious. They have failed in the battlefield in Gaza. They had this expectation that they could win this war in 1 to 3 weeks. But at the end of the one last point, if I may, they failed, and now they are trying to bring as many possible players to the battlefield to justify their failure and have the back of the United States and
Dr. Asadi, we're short of time, so I want you to give a slightly shorter answers. But the question that a lot of people are in fact wondering about is, Iran in the past has spoken about strategic restraint, where it says that it does not want to get provoked into a conflict. Now, when Qasem Soleimani, the top Iranian general, was assassinated by the Americans back in 2020, Iran did respond, but it did so in a non-escalatory manner. Is that a kind of response that we expect from Iran this time around as well?
Well, it's, I think, a little bit complicated, so we cannot talk about the nature or the extent of retaliation. And the days that you mentioned that have been spent so far is just for the sake of acting in a wise way, in a strategic way. Of course, for Tehran, an all-out war scenario has been the most unwelcome option, given the fact that it could run the risk of dragging the region and even beyond into a full-fledged confrontation. But we're talking about measures short of war. So far, this strategic patience has been wrongly misinterpreted as a sign of lack of capability or inability by Iran to respond. But now there is a huge paradigmatic shift taking place, and Iran should retaliate in order to prove that it is capable of responding.
All right, we'll have to leave there. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Asadi, for joining us and getting us all those insights there.
Thank you very much for having me.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.